Hey. Hey. Thank you for being here. I'd like to first thank my friends here, Serpentina Logan. Yeah! For inviting me to come out here. And I'd like to thank Knucklehead as well. You don't mind if I tell stories too? You want some stories? Alright, well, I guess I'm older than I look. So the first band that I ever saw in my life, I was 13 years old. I saw a band, and I didn't expect to see them because I didn't know anything about one band or the other, or one genre or another. And I went to Manhattan. I was living in Queens, because that's where I'm from, Queens, New York. Go Mets, right? So anyway, I followed these kind of cool-looking people like you guys, you people, to a club called Max's Kansas City, and the first band I ever saw in my life was Suicide.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And it took a little while before I got my own act together.
Was he a Kansas City native? Because I'm from Kansas City, and I wondered if that man was a Kansas City native. Do you ever know?
I don't know about that, but we'll check it out.
I was just always wondering that.
It's possible. Anyway, you know, there was a lot of bands going on in New York City, and, you know, a lot of bands were trying to cover, you know, kind of look and sound like Suicide. I said, nah, we're not going to do that. Let's do something else. So my friends and I, my friend, my co-partner in this band I started, we were sitting around and thinking, like, what can we do to stand out from like everybody else in New York City? Because there was a lot of bands, and there was punk bands here, hardcore bands here, no-wave bands here, and, you know, a lot of other experimental bands. So we always thought that if we did something kind of like way out on the outside, and a little offensive, a little, you know, poking at people, you know. So Greg Scott and I started a band, and then Chris joined later, and the band was really like, you know, very, very on the outside. There were inside bands and outside bands. You got bands like Sonic Youth and Swans, you know, and all these other great no-wave bands. But then we were kind of on the outside of that. Anyway, we started a band, and boy, did we get in a lot of trouble. So we named the band, believe it or not, we named the band Final Solution, and that was my band. From, oh, boo, boo, That's it, Final Solution. So like, from day one, we were always like on the defense, but Greg and I and Chris, you know, we just said, it's us against the world. It was just sort of, you know, juvenile punk rock attitude.
And you guys weren't fucking Nazis or anything. It was like
no, it was a joke. You see, like, no one got our fucking thing. The Nazis were the people that didn't book us anywhere because they were too cool and too hip, and they were like too stylized. And those were the Nazis because they pushed us right out. And I was doing this since 1981. I was doing this. I saw all the great punk bands and hardcore bands from day one. I saw fucking the Misfits with Bobby Steele before he joined the Undead. So, you know, a little punk rock history. Anyway, so this song is basically an anthem that we wrote, because I said, you know, what can we do to stand out? I'm like, well, okay, let's write an anthem, like a sing-along or something that people can do, because I was really into punk. And one thing I really liked about punk is that people would sing along. You know, you hand a mic over, and I had seen Minor Threat 5 times, I saw Black Flag. It was always give the mic to the audience. So, anyway, this is an early song from Final Solution, and it's called All New Power, and it's an anthem to the underground. Yeah. So anyway, I was 13 years old when I got to see Suicide. And I was still living with my folks in Queens. And my mom said, you know, you can't go out to clubs. You know, it's a school night. You gotta just go to school. I go, okay. So I hung around in Queens. But I said, Mom, could I go see other bands? You know, it was, you know, not too late. She goes, yeah, okay, you know, you want to go see other bands or whatever. You can go to the club with your friends or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So it took about a few months before I actually went out to another show. Actually, it took, when it was 79, yeah, 1980. So I asked some older kids in Queens, hey, can I come with you to the show? And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. So we're gonna go. So it was July 23rd, 1981, and there were these two British bands that came to the Palladium in New York City. And everyone knew the big band. The big band was called Judas Priest. And the opening band, the supporting band, was getting some, you know, only the real sort of like cool kids really knew that the next band was called Iron Maiden. And this is with Paul Di'Anno, the original singer. So we went, I saw both bands, and we always went back and forth, my friends. We said, Judas Priest was better than Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden was better than Judas Priest. I didn't really care. It's live music. I just was happy to be there. But the band that stuck out to me was Maiden, to tell you the truth, because they came out there. And this one goes out to Paul Di'Anno, because I really thought that he had the better voice over Rob Halford, who was and Paul was had that guttural thing I was looking for. So this one goes out to Paul Di'Anno. It's called Killers.
Yeah. Move up, everyone.
All right, we're going to take a station identification break. I'm going to bring my good friend here, Logan, up here. Some words of wisdom, some inspiration, if you need it. Here we go. I guess I gotta have to do this song. Going back to the Final Solution, you know, early on we were sort of very naive and we hooked up with somebody in Chicago, Mark Solitroff, and he really liked, yeah, okay. There you go. So we went under his wing and we got on AWB Records and everything. Yeah, he moved to Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And well, anyway, this is one of his songs. This is an intrinsic action song, and it's called Days.
You're a little bit more?
Yeah, one more.
One more, okay.
Let's do one more.
Let's have a word.
No, or two more. Do two more.
Two more?
Two more. Okay.
Hey, let's have a word.
Right after this one. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a fear song too, but before we do the fear song, you know, the very first record I ever bought with my own money, allowance money, was because I thought it was edgy, was Alice Cooper. So I owe a lot to Alice Cooper because, I mean, it was young, you know, so I read in the paper, it was like the New York Post or something. This was like 1974 or something. I was like 7, 8 years old. My mother said, read the newspaper and, you know, your vocabulary when you're reading will get better. I'm like, oh, okay. So I saw this picture of this guy with makeup on. And, you know, I was like, wow, what's this? My mom helped me because I didn't know some of these words. They said, Alice Cooper shocks New York. And they call him a deviant, a pervert, sadomasochistic, leather-bound freak. And I said, what does all this mean? And my mom said, oh, I don't think you want to know some of this stuff. So I looked it up in the dictionary, and I'm like, wow, this guy's cool. Then there was like AM and FM radio. They only played 2 or 3 songs. And they played I'm 18, and they played this song I'm about to sing. It's been covered by other bands like Megadeth, but I figured I'd bring it out tonight. A little bit of rock and roll. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we got one more. Thank you for coming. Thank you for enjoying it, maybe. So, let's see, back to the 80s. And I saw this band in 81. They were from Los Angeles. They were from right here. I loved them back in the day. So, how can we do this? Leaving, we used to say, wonderful, wonderful. There's too many others, there's too many others, there's too many others. There's too many others, there's too many others, there's too many others. Let's have a war!